I mean, there's obviously pros and cons to that. So, I know Ryan's a good quarterback. I really do. And wherever he's played, I know he was here for some time, and certainly well liked in this building, well regarded for what he did. That said, we're going to go up against two different quarterbacks potentially, Sal, and we've got to be ready for either one. The biggest thing for us is that we play sound fundamental football. Well, I like his speed. You look at what he did in his time in Chicago. You see the ability to separate, and the speed element is certainly a factor there, and an upside. And then how physical he is, and his willingness to block in the run game and also play special teams. So felt like it was a good addition, and credit Brandon and his staff. They're really doing a good job with keeping a close eye on the waiver wire and trying to continue to improve our roster any way we can. I can't say that was obviously that put us over the top or anything. The familiarity, to your point, Joe, is nice to have, and already he knows some of the players in the building here, and so that obviously that familiarity was. Certainly helped in this case, but was not the deciding factor. Yeah, we'll see. He's been, the good part about DT's, he's been in some different systems, so some of it's just terminology. I know he met with Coach McGagan yesterday, and they went through it, and they'll go through it again, his second iteration today. So I'm anxious to see him out on the practice field. Love his energy, and get him going. Well, you evaluate everyone. Both individually and then together as a team, and you obviously keep that in mind. That said, you want to see the offense move, and regardless of, this is true of any player, you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days, and on the days where you don't have your A game, how do we affect the overall team? And whether it's a quarterback, like I said, or any position. So Tyrod's had some what I would determine to be very, very good days, and what I call playoff caliber moments. And so we've got to continue to grow as a football team, and we look forward to doing that going forward with Tyrod as our quarterback.
Has he had enough of those very, very good days?
Well, I don't think we've had enough as a team. And so, as that goes. So, if we have at this point, we'd be sitting here at 5-0, and we're 3-2. So, a lot of room for improvement. That starts with me. He's a phenomenal player. He can wreck a game plan at that 3 technique position with his penetration, his size. He's a force to be reckoned with, not only in the pass game but also the run game. So that's a little bit unique. You don't usually find a player that's the total package like he is. And then being in the division like I was, I had a front row seat to watch how he basically disrupted the running game over the years in Carolina, and then at times the pass game. So, we've got to make sure we do a good job there.
It looked like they move him around a little bit, though. I know he usually plays that 3 technique, but he's kind of a little bit all over the place inside the interior, right?
Yeah, they do a good job. Coach Smith has been, he's been at this for a number of years, so he knows what he's doing and does a good job. And moving McCoy around is part of their overall. Well, that's a good problem to have, and that's a position of value across the league. Those guys are hard to find, and all 5 of those guys we have a tremendous amount of confidence in. When you look at what they've done and where they've played over the years, and so I feel like we're in a good position. Those guys, like I said, are hard to find. I feel like we're sitting in a pretty good position. We look at everything. We honestly do. We look at everything. We get calls all the time about guys, and I know those guys can play, and I have a tremendous amount of confidence. Yeah, no, he's had a good year. It starts with how he's taking care of himself off the field. And I think that's been well documented with his conditioning, with his weight, and he's done a good job really picking up Josh, the defense, in a short amount of time, so that we can communicate. I mean, everything goes through him. He's the antenna of the defense, and then it gets communicated either front or to the back end, so he's done a nice job so far. Yeah, we continually evaluate all of the guys, and Chantrell in this case no different. I mean, obviously he's been out for 5 weeks there, the suspension. He looks in good shape. He looks like he's picked up the offense in terms of right where he left off with training camp when he left us there. So, that's been good to see, and he's doing a good job in the weight room, in the training room, all that type of stuff. And so I'm encouraged by his professionalism. We're going to look at that, and that's where the day-to-day part comes in. We'll just take it one day at a time right now.
Possibility exists.
It does. Yeah.